Hello Texans Nation! Today we're going to talk about something that's been circulating behind the scenes in the NFL, and that might surprise many people who follow this team. Everyone's talking about Al-Shaair. Everyone's talking about the Cowboys wanting our Pro Bowl linebacker. But today I'm going to tell you that there's a side to this story that nobody's really discussing. Al-Shaair isn't going anywhere. You can breathe. You can relax. This trade isn't going to happen. And I'll explain why clearly shortly. But here's what's really happening. While everyone's focused on Al-Shaair, there are 3 other players on the Texans roster who could change teams before the April 23rd draft. 3 names that Nick Caserio is evaluating, 3 different situations. And at least one of them will surprise you because it involves a player who had one of the best seasons of his career last year. I'll reveal those 3 names shortly. But first, I need you to understand the full context of what's happening this offseason, because only then will you be able to see the plan the Texans are putting together for 2026 and beyond. Stay with me, and I'll explain the details. Let's start with the topic on everyone's lips, Azeez Al-Shaair and the Cowboys. In recent days, these trade rumors have gained traction on social media and specialized websites. And I need to be direct with you, Texans Nation. These rumors are ridiculous. I have no better word to describe them. Al-Shaair is the team captain. He's the quarterback of the defense, the player who wears the green dot on his helmet and organizes all 10 other players before each play. He's the heart and brain of one of the best defenses in the NFL. He had the best season of his career in 2025. He has a deep relationship with DeMeco Ryans that goes back to his time with the San Francisco 49ers. Trading this player would be like taking the engine out of a perfectly functioning car just because another team offered money. It doesn't make sense. It never has. And unless something completely unpredictable happens, Al-Shaair will remain in Houston in 2026, and probably for many years after that. But while this smokescreen surrounding Al-Shaair dominates the conversations, 3 other players on the roster are in much more realistic trade situations. And it's them you need to be paying attention to right now. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like so you don't miss the next news. We cover every move of the Texans before everyone else. The 3 players the Texans could trade before the draft are Blake Fisher, Xavier Hutchinson, and Jalen Reed. 3 different positions, 3 different stories, and 3 levels of trade probability that we're going to honestly analyze now. First player, Blake Fisher. Let's start with Blake Fisher, offensive tackle, drafted in the 2nd round of 2024. And this is the most complicated situation of the 3 because it involves a young player who arrived with high expectations and has yet to establish himself as a starter. Fisher was chosen by the Texans with the expectation of becoming the right tackle in the long term. A 2nd-round investment, a player who should have been on the team for many years. But the reality was different. Fisher failed to consistently secure the starting position, and now in 2026, with Braden Smith arriving as the right tackle from the outside, and with Trent Brown also on the roster, Fisher is looking at a situation where he may not even have a guaranteed spot on the team. And here's the history that makes this trade very plausible. In the last 2 off-seasons, the Texans made similar moves with offensive line draft picks. Kenyon Green was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Juice Scruggs was traded to the Detroit Lions. The pattern exists. Nick Caserio has already shown that he has no problem trading young offensive lines when the situation isn't working as expected. Fisher still has market value because he's young and a 2nd-round pick. A team that needs offensive line depth can offer a late-round pick, and the Texans can use that draft capital to strengthen other positions in April. My opinion on Fisher is that this trade makes sense for both sides. Fisher needs a place where he can play and develop. The Texans need space and draft picks. It's a win-win situation for everyone. Second player, Xavier Hutchinson. Now let's talk about Xavier Hutchinson, wide receiver. And this is the situation that surprises me most on this list. Hutchinson had the best season of his career in 2025, 35 receptions, 428 yards, 1 touchdown. For a 6th-round receiver that many didn't even expect to make the main team, this is a real and concrete evolution. But here's the problem for him in 2026. The Texans' receiving core is getting crowded. Nico Collins is number 1, without discussion. Jaden Higgins is in his 2nd year and has a lot of potential. Jalen Noel is also growing, and Tank Dell has finally recovered from a serious injury and should be available for the season. This puts Hutchinson as the 4th or 5th receiver in the hierarchy, with him in the final year of his rookie contract, and the Texans able to save over $3 million in salary cap space by trading or cutting him. The math starts to make sense for a trade. The good news for Hutchinson is that he has real market value. 35 receptions and over 400 yards in 2025. is the kind of production other teams will consider. It probably won't yield a big draft pick, but a late-round pick is entirely possible. My personal opinion here is that I really like Hutchinson. I think he showed character and real growth this past season, but I understand the Texans' logic. When you have Collins, Higgins, Knoll, and Dell ahead of him, it's hard to justify roster space. If a team gives him a bigger chance as a starter, it could be best for everyone. Third player, Jalen Reed. And now we come to the third name, Jalen Reed, safety, selected in the 6th round of the 2025 draft. And this is the most delicate situation of the three because it involves a very young player with a lot of potential, but also with a worrying injury history in his first year. When Reed was available in 2025, he impressed. A 6th-round rookie gaining the trust of the Houston coaching staff throughout the season is something that doesn't happen easily in the NFL. The talent is there, but injuries overshadowed that brilliance. Reed was active in only 7 games and started in only 1. 2 different health problems throughout the year limited his participation in a worrying way. And with the Texans signing Reed Blankenship to a 3-year, $24 million contract, and with MJ Stewart renewing his contract, the safety position in Houston is well covered for 2026. The space for Jalen Reed on the team has become much smaller. The problem with a potential trade is that his market value is limited precisely because of this small sample size of games and his injury history in his first year. No team will offer a high draft pick for a player who was only active in 7 games in his rookie season. But if the Texans can get a late-round pick or a depth player in return, it might be worth a try. The risk is minimal because Reed is still under contract for a low cost. My opinion on Reed is that I think it would be premature to trade him now. He showed real talent when he was healthy. A second year with better health could completely change the perception of him. I would wait longer before making a decision. When you put the 3 cases together, you start to see Nick Caserio's strategy clearly. The Houston Texans are in a position where they have depth at several positions. And excess depth means some players need to give up space. Fisher to open up space on the offensive line and bring in draft capital. Hutchinson to save on the salary cap and free up space for young receivers to grow. Reed in a more delicate situation where the timing of the decision matters a lot. And all this is happening while the real big decision, Al-Shaair's extension, is being prepared behind the scenes. Because when that extension is announced, it will cost close to $13 million a year. And that money needs to come from somewhere. Texans Nation, this is the reality of this offseason. Al-Shaair stays, that point is settled. But Fisher, Hutchinson, and Reed are in situations that deserve attention in the coming weeks. Now I want to know your opinion. Which of these 3 would you trade right now without thinking twice? Fisher, who never managed to establish himself as a starter. Hutchinson, who had the best season but might run out of playing time. Or Reed, who showed talent but was limited by injuries. And if you were Nick Caserio, would you make any of these 3 trades before the April 23rd draft? Leave your comments below. I want to read every answer. Texans Nation always has the most insightful opinions on this team. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, share with that Texans fan friend who doesn't yet know about these moves. Until the next video, cheers.